I don't think 4C hair is hard. It's not. It's actually really easy. People like to say 4C hair is not manageable. It's very difficult to manage. I think it's only difficult to manage if you're trying to make it be something that it's not. I want to have a chit chat about my hair. I want to have a chit chat about my natural hair in its completely natural state. Just this. A lot of sentiments in conversations have been going around, for ages about, the respectability of wearing your hair like this, or the manageability of wearing your hair in its natural state. Whole movements have been started over hair, black hair specifically. So I kind of want to have a chit chat about it and just have a little spiel. It's actually really easy. I think once you let it just do what it wants to do. It wants to be in a circle. It wants to be close to my head. It wants to be coily and touching each other. This is the shape that it wants to take naturally. It doesn't really want to do that. It's going back. It's just how my physical body is. And I think it's so kind of insane that it's radical to wear your hair the way that it grows, right? And that's why we have things like the Crown Act, right? Because it's radical. It's radical to love your hair and to wear it the way that it grows out of your head. It's radical for me to have my body in a natural state. It's radical. There are quite a few trade-offs in wearing my hair like this instead of in a stretched state. Whether that's twist outs or braid outs or straightening it or perming it. I think there's always trade-offs. I don't really like using the verbiage pro and con because I think that insinuates negative versus positive, as opposed to an exchange based on give and take, right? You give up something to have something else. For instance, ease of styling versus versatility, right? So for me, this is very easy. This is a very easy style, right? But if I were to do a twist out, it's more versatile because I can put it up very quickly. I can put it down very quickly. I can do a little bit more with it because it's in a stretched state, right? So, but it takes more time to style, right? You gotta spend 45 minutes the night before. So one trade-off may be like, for instance, with wigs, right? Wigs are really easy to wear sometimes, right? There's a huge versatility in wigs, right? You can change the color, you can change your hair very quickly, you can take it on and off, but it doesn't always look the most natural. I love wigs, but sometimes I just don't like the trade-off that I have to take when wearing a wig because it's not super convenient all the time, right? I may want to go on a roller coaster ride, or I may want to exercise or do something else that might involve me moving a lot. So I just think that some styles, like that's why someone might prefer braids or something like that, right? But there's a trade-off with that too. Braids are really expensive. Sometimes it's hard to come by a stylist who's really good or timely or whatever. Or learning to do the braids just takes a lot of time and trial error, So I think there's a trade-off with every single style, and I think people like to say 4C hair is not manageable. It's very difficult to manage. I think it's only difficult to manage if you're trying to make it be something that it's not, right? So if you're trying to take your hair and make it straight, of course it's going to be difficult to manage. It doesn't want to do that, right? It doesn't want to be straight. So as soon as that humidity hits it, it's trying to go back to its natural state, right? So I think the same could be said for straight hairstyles, right? You could deem someone having straight hair being unmanageable if what you're trying to do to it is unnatural to its natural state, right? Like if you're trying to make it curly, when it just doesn't want to do that, it just won't hold a curl. Like it won't hold a curl for the life of it, right? You could say that that's technically unmanageable if the management consists of manipulating it to make it look different. That's just my 2 cents. That's my opinion. I don't think it's unmanageable. I think it's hard to manipulate on occasion, right? I think those are two different things. And I think it's a little bit disingenuous and maybe harmful to say that 4C hair is hard to manage or difficult or rowdy or whatever. Verbiage is tied to it. Negative verbiage is tied to it if what you're trying to do to it is not what it wants to do, right? And I like those styles, right? I like straight hair. I burned my hair to a crisp once. I was so sad. I didn't realize how much I loved my natural hair until I burnt it off. But I do love those styles, right? I love the versatility of those styles. I like certain of the trade-offs that I get when I am changing up my hair. But it does make it hard to manage because it's not what, I've said that a million times now, but you know what I mean? You get me, right? It's really freeing to just kind of wake up and go. That's one of the positive things I can say that no other style has provided to me. It's just, I can just, like, in the morning, right? Unscrunch my hair, and it's done. And it's done, right? And I think a lot of people are, like, kind of frustrated because they believe it's so easy for everyone else, right? To just wake up and their hair is already done. And all they have to do is brush through it 3 times. You could do the same thing. The underlying issue is that you want it to change or that you want it to look different. And that's okay. Acknowledging that will kind of maybe free you from having a negative thought process about your hair, a negative view of your hair. If you're like, hey, like, my hair is not difficult to manage. This style is difficult to manage. My hair just doesn't want to do this style like that. And it's difficult to manage my hair when I style it like this. There's nothing naturally wrong with your hair that it's hard to manage, I know about the wig slipping off. I know about the hair still being wet after you unbraided it. I know about the braids growing out way too long. I know how expensive that can get. That's another thing that I didn't consider, actually, which I'm kind of surprised. It's really inexpensive. It's really inexpensive. Let me show you the products I use on here. I use this. I got this on sale, by the way. TGIN. This is really good. It doesn't like flake up or get white or crusty or anything like that. I have a jumbo and I've used half of it. I use this and water and just some shampoo and conditioner, and I call it a day. But my hair feels really good and healthy. I just had a weave in. I'll put it on the screen. I just had a weave in and I loved it, y'all. I love that weave down. Okay? But I had to take it off. Because it has just been time. I left it in too long. It was actually a little bit difficult to take out. But that's a trade-off with having a weave. The weave emulates my natural hair, so it makes sense that it was easy to do, like easy to take care of. But the trade-off was I couldn't reach my scalp very easily. The first couple days, my head was really itchy. It took a long time to dry when I washed with it. There's some other things too. There were some other things. But again, the trade-off was my hair looked amazing every day, straight out of the bonnet, and it looked big, full, and long. It's just I had these other things that I had to contend with. So I think once we start like thinking of our hair in less of a binary, like positive, negative type of thinking, more of like give and take, that we can kind of just, give it some more love. You know what I kind of don't like sometimes? I don't like when people I know, I understand why they do this, but I don't like when people say, oh, you look like Angela Davis, or you look like Diana Ross, or anyone prominent who has an afro, right? Because in reality, I look like you. Like, you know what I mean? And the only difference between us is that I'm doing something that feels unnatural, but is natural, which is to wear my hair the way it is out of my head. Isn't that crazy? I feel like people like associate wearing your natural hair with doing something radical, you know, going out of the norm, because it's not normal, right? Societally, it's not normal. That's why we have things like the Crown Act. That's why the military has to update their regulations about hair, because previously they only contended for hair that is flat, right? Right? So it kind of bothers me a little bit when people compare me to Black women who are known for having their hair out, or maybe Black women who are radical, because I'm like, if we just allow this to be normal and not like some type of statement, maybe then I wouldn't get a bunch of this. Because I'm actually not doing anything. I'm just existing, actually, you know? And I understand the sentiment. I do. Because again, it is empowering to wear your hair this way. So I'm not like mad about it. I'm just kind of annoyed that if you peel back the layer of what that means is you're doing something out of the norm. You're going against the grain by existing in your natural body. That's what I kind of just don't like about that, you know? So I'm actually not radical. I am, but I'm not. I will say I don't really pay too much attention to the growth of my hair. You wouldn't know unless I did like this. Like, you wouldn't know. So to me, it's just like, that's just not like a measure of like my hair anymore, because my hair doesn't grow down. It doesn't grow long. It doesn't grow in length. It grows in volume. So I don't really keep up with that, actually, which is something I kind of like. I do still feel sometimes the desire to stunt on people and be like, hang time, Like, I get that. Still, very harsh societal expectations against Black hair, in particular, oily type 4 hair. I've heard a lot of discourse about the type 4, or not type 4. It does kind of bother me though when people put the videos and they'll be like type 4, and I'm like, oh, okay. If they put type 4, but they can slick their hair down with Eco Styler gel, but okay, that's not my business. That's none of my business. That's none of my business, actually. Actually, that's none of my business, so. That's actually none of my business. But I feel like there's a lot of discourse around the hair typing system. I've seen people say it's like archaic or whatever. It's outdated. It's based on like, you know, like texturist ideals. Those things could be true, but I do find it helpful. I won't lie, in the sense that when I search up 4C hair and accurate results come up, I do find really good ways and ideas of how to style my hair based on its shape. Hairstylists or natural hair gurus will talk about how other features of your hair are more important. Like I need to see, I need to see someone with my hair texture be able to do this. And in that regard, I do think hair typing is important. I'm really, really glad that I, a couple months ago, took this step to embrace it. I think it's hard. Like, it's really, really hard because everywhere you're badgered with unkempt or nappy or not done or or you know, or like you're making some type of statement by existing. It's exhausting. But so far, I really love the journey. I think that I will still enjoy other hairstyles, but I know that this is one that I will always have a deep love and appreciation for, because it's my body in its most raw state, you know? And I think people kind of forget to, like, even though hair is very much a part of your appearance and your culture and your style, it's also the way your body naturally exists. Anyways, I would really love to hear more conversation about this, any insights that you've come to in wearing your hair like mine. If you have type 4 hair or otherwise, what do you think? Please leave that down in the comments below. Give this a thumbs up if you found something insightful. I really want this to be a very kind, honest, earnest conversation about how you feel. I think given all the societal pressures that we've been put under due to our hair, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to wear it a different way, right? Wanting to wear it stretched, or wanting to wear it in braids or wigs. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You have to fit in where you get in, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta make it do what it do. You gotta make it work. And if it works for you and it makes you more comfortable to wear your hair in a style that allows you to maybe assimilate or feel more desirable, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know? I just feel like for me, it's kind of like, it's definitely been a step, I feel like, for me in the right direction in terms of confidence and self-acceptance of not only my hair, but my body, because my hair is my body. So yeah. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit teary. I love my hair, and I love your hair too. So